Hello, my name is Kumari Sky, and this is a video on the yin yoga pose called Sphinx. We can also practice the yin yoga pose called seal with this pose. And this pose is great for toning the spine. It's great for those that might have bulging discs or want to prevent bulging discs because of the nature of the compression that we're making at the sacral lumbar arch. And this pose also really nurtures your whole abdomen area. It can tonify the digestion organs, and it can also really help to support and tonify the female reproductive organs. And then also, if you're doing the pose and you're putting the head back, you're stimulating the thyroid. So I'm going to show you the pose. So without any props, this is the Sphinx pose. You would start out with elbows under shoulders and start to sense your lower back area. And if you're feeling a squeezing there, you can stay. But if it's feeling like too much, another way of practicing is just coming down. But you can also practice this pose a little higher up. So we could use a bolster for that. So some people enjoy just coming up on the bolster like this. It's another great place you could use a block to rest your head on. You can also make it more intense by putting this bolster or whatever you have under your rib cage. Okay. So I'm really feeling a nice squeeze in my lower back. We're not worried about the shoulders here, so you can do whatever you want. You can let your head hang down. Because the pose's target area is in your lower back, unlike a regular yoga class where we're thinking about not collapsing the shoulders, it's not as important here because that's not the intention of the pose. The intention of the pose is your lumbar spine. Now, if you experience any sharp pain, make sure you come out right away or go a little less deep in the pose. And just a word of caution too, if you have a sensitive back, make sure you start out in like the lowest position. That might be walking your elbows a little in front of your shoulders just to kind of see how it is. I know that there's been students I've worked with where just this is enough for them to feel a little squeeze in the lumbar spine. So now, if you're pregnant and you still want to do this pose, it's a really nice way to do it is just put a bolster or use two bolsters. Okay. And then you're going to lie down and just let the belly hang in between. So this is also really helpful if you're practicing in yoga and you just ate. It can be really helpful as a way to not make yourself feel nauseous. So like I said, you can put a bolster under the armpits, under the rib cage if you want to take things a little deeper. But you can also practice this as the seal pose. So let's just say here we are in the Sphinx pose. But if we want to take it a little deeper, we can press the arms and press up like this. Now you might still have your bolster there. And I find with this one, you want to come in and out maybe for like 10 breaths and then just come back to where you were. Another way you can do it is bring your arms out to the side a little bit more and press up. And in all cases, your legs can be wider. They can be together. Some people even like them crossed. And another way you can instigate more sensation is in your bending of knees. That can usually help people feel more sensation. Now, the counter pose for this, quite intuitively, would be to just press back into a child's pose. And oftentimes I'll do these poses with each other back to back. But another really nice way to do a counter pose with this one is just a little gentle half frog. So have them or yourself bring your leg up like this and turn your head to that side. And then, of course, do the other side. And you might hold that counter pose for 5 to 10 breaths and really focus on breathing into that space where you felt the squeeze from the pose in your lumbar spine. You can also do cat-cows as a counter pose. And the meridians we're affecting are the urinary bladder and the kidney, so that run through your lower back, but also the stomach and spleen, so the tops of your legs and your stomach. So you want to feel the edge, like I've mentioned a few times, in your lower back. That's what the whole point is. But you might feel it in your neck if you're in the pose and you decide to tip your head back, only if that's safe for your neck or your student's neck. And with this one, the whole time is pretty flexible. You could hold it for 3 minutes. I usually hold it for 5 minutes when I'm teaching my public classes, but you could go as long as 10 minutes. My teacher always talks about doing some yin yoga poses while you're watching a movie or your show. So you could sit in this pose for like 10, 15 minutes if you want to. And like I was saying before too, when you add that seal pose, like when you bring your arms out and push up, you still want to keep your shoulders pretty relaxed and make sure that your lower body, in both cases, Sphinx or seal, is relaxed. If you're clenching the muscles in your glutes or your legs, that's an indication from your body that you're going a little too far, and you don't need to go that far. So that is the Sphinx and seal pose in Yin Yoga.